SMGs have been a staple of the airsoft landscape for many years and have been loved by so many players around the world. Such iconic standouts such as the MP5 series, the Scorpion Evos, and the PP19s, and many more have been the go-to choice of many players for many years. However, us as airsofters, we're just never satisfied. We want more cool, more of that new hotness. And that's where SIG came in. When SIG announced that they'll be getting into the airsoft game under their own brand, it sent shockwaves around the world. Up until this point, Crytek was the only brand that was directly under the umbrella of a real steel firearms company, Chris USA. Combined with SIG's legendary lineup of firearms, collectors, players, and enthusiasts alike were all clamoring for SIG Air products, and they were all hits. The M17, the M18, the MCX, all of them were hits. Okay guys, let's just face it. There's really only one gun that we were all waiting for, with bated breath. It started with anticipation, then it was with hope, then it kind of turned into a myth, and then, well, then there are people speculating on the internet that it just would never get made. And to be honest, like, I was kind of in that boat, like, you know, it's kind of a pipe dream. But finally, it's here. It's the MPX. Ooh, just saying it kind of gave me the shivers. The SIG MPX probably has been the most anticipated airsoft gun for the past several years, since the announcement of SIG getting into airsoft. Well, finally, it's here, and we're gonna go over every little detail. The MPX as we know it was released in 2015 and is a gas-operated SMG designed and manufactured by SIG Sauer, and it's primarily chambered in 9mm, though in its second generation it featured a system that would allow it to use 357 SIG or 40 Smith & Wesson. The MPX used a closed rotating bolt and it was gas-operated. In an SMG, this is actually quite rare, and they did this for increased reliability and greater safety. Right off the bat, the MPX is a really good-looking SMG. And as for how it's patterned, I think it took some inspiration from the tried and tested MP5, but as I say inspiration, that's literally where it ends, because this thing is more closely patterned to an AR-15 or M4 than it ever will be close to an MP5, and allow me to explain why. Looking at the upper and lower receiver of the MPX, it's clearly a scaled down version of the MCX. And seeing the MCX is also closely patterned after the AR-15 platform, you will find familiar things like the charging handle, fire selector, and bolt release, as well as magazine release, all placed in locations any AR user would be familiar with. As a final cherry on top, the mag well is also flared for an easier reloading experience. As an AR guy, this is fantastic. I mean, all the controls are laid out exactly where you would expect them to be, and there's something to be said just about the usability and controllability of the AR platform. It's literally something you can drop in anyone's hand, and within a few seconds, they already know where everything is. And that kind of familiarity allows this gun to be easily fielded by, well, a lot of people. The MPX also comes with a very handsome retractable stock that can be folded. Now, while we're talking about stocks, I want to show you the MCX and the MPX. And I want to get my personal gripe right out here in the open. When you look at promotional materials for the MCX Virtus, it came with this stock. And the MPX, well, I feel like it was more of a natural look for it to come, well, with this stock. Why they came like this, it is beyond me. So for your viewing pleasure, I will not only show you how they're both compatible with each other and how to swap them and what they look like afterwards. Let's go. All right, so here's the MPX, here's the MCX. As you can see with the MPX, it does have a groove right here in the upper receiver, because it does facilitate the MCX stock, or well, the stock that comes with the MCX. So let's first start with taking the stock out. Get your trusty Allen key. Just gonna loosen that up. And this should come right off, just like that. And there's your stock, and there's the back of your MPX. For the MCX, I'm gonna extend this part first. So that's cleared. Once that's cleared, get your Allen key. Same thing over on this side. I'm gonna line this up nicely. Find the position that you like. Let's say there. Make sure that fits. There we go, just like that. The MPX comes with a 14mm CCW threaded outer barrel. The inner barrel is 168mm, and it comes with this lightweight M-LOK rail. Internally, the gearbox is a version 2.1, same as the one found in the MCX. Its battery connector is up front and is a small Tamiya type, and the hop-up is right where you would expect any generic hop-up to be, here in the chamber. Pull the charging handle back and voila. Now that we've finished talking about how the gun looks and what its guts are, I feel like now it's high time that we throw a bit of competition at it. I mean, in the real steel world, the MPX is up there with the big boys like the MP5 or the Scorpion Evo. So in the airsoft world, what better competition to throw at it than an MP5 and a Scorpion Evo? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the MPX and we're gonna go to landing zone, and we're gonna see how this brand new MPX stacks up against two established players in the airsoft world. Let's go! I'm using a 7.4 LiPo and 0.2 gram BBs. First up, we have our Scorpion Evo. Now the MP5 A4. Finally, the MPX. That first shot was a misfire, so I took one extra. Welcome to landing zone, and we're about to shoot all three guns we talked about earlier, the Scorpion Evo, the MP5, and of course, the MPX. I felt like it's only good that we start with something we're familiar with, the Scorpion Evo, and for the sake of fairness, I'm all using 7.4 volt batteries with all three of our guns. Here it is, let's go. So to avoid any confusion, I'm gonna take a first couple of shots away from the target so you guys can see the trajectory of each BB as they fly. Then I'll progressively move in closer and hit the target at 30 meters away. Even with a 7.4, Scorpion Evo still delivers extremely consistent flight paths with the BB. I'm sure you guys are seeing this. And the trigger, superb. Light pull, very good. Easy to hit this target. All right. Time for the MP5. Next up, the MP5. I know it's an MP5 A4. The reason why it's an A4 is because, well, we don't have an MP5 A5 in stock because it's so popular, it's sold out. So, here's the MP5. You know, the MP5, it's familiar. Earlier I talked about the MPX being a platform that you can put it in the hands of anybody and you instantly know how it works. And the same thing can be said about the MP5. But then again, the MP5 has also been around for so long. It's easy to operate, that's for sure, and the BB trajectory is very stable and consistent. I also like the hop-up adjustment on the MP5. It's a slider. You slide it forward or back very similar to like AK style ones, I like it. And the A4 is my favorite pattern in MP5. Incredibly consistent. Now, time for the MPX. All right, the final gun for our trajectory test, of course, it's the MPX. Guys, I'm gonna be very frank with you. Trying to find the correct size battery to put inside this handguard was not easy at all. So, again, just like the other guns, it's a 7.4. Now we've seen how 7.4 LiPo worked with the Evo as well as the MP5. I wanna see how snappy it's gonna be with the MPX. You know I had to do this with the stock. All right, let's see how she shoots. Oh, wow. First shot on target. I'm gonna shoot a couple shots just like the other ones offside so you guys can see the trajectory of the BBs. Even though it's a 7.4 LiPo in here, it feels like it's packing a wallop. It's very good. Now let's see if I can hit that target. All right, it's the accuracy time, and we're gonna start with the Scorpion Evo. We know this gun is very accurate, so let's just see what it's like. Let's set the benchmark. What can I say? The Evo, just doing Evo things. All right, for its long distance consistency, it seemed like the MP5A4 took the cake. Let's see, in terms of accuracy, how it does. Wow, this thing legit shot like a laser. Again, it doesn't have that pizzazz as you get from an 11.1, but my goodness, does this thing throw it out there like a rope. Very impressed. I really am very impressed with this. So let's see where the MPX stands. And finally, the MPX. All right, I have high hopes for this gun. From where I'm standing and what I can see from the results, as you guys can see on screen, this gun held an incredibly tight group. It was really keeping pace with the other two. And you know, to be very honest, I'm very surprised how close it kept up with the Scorpion Evo, because we know that's already a very good gun. The only thing left for us to do is to kind of walk and shoot and give you guys a hands-on feeling as to how this gun shoots as we move with it shouldered. Well, less of me talking, let's get to it. All right. Been a while. You know, the Scorpion Evo is what you would say in science to be a constant. Everybody knows just how good this gun really is. It shoulders well, it shoots like a laser, it's lightweight, it fits good in your hand, and even with a 7.4, if you find it a little bit sluggish, hey, you can pop it right here on a 3-round burst. And it takes care of a lot of those problems. Yes, its look a little dated, but that never hurt nobody when it could shoot so good. Even on a 7.4, I have to say, this gun can really work. I really like it. You know, on paper, this MP5A4 was the most basic of the bunch. It was the most generic gun. There's no frills to it. But I'm very impressed with how this MP5A4 has performed. Now, it's very sluggish with a 7.4, but then again, it also has a 3-round burst function. And there's something about it that just makes this gun shoot so well. Yeah, you're not gonna get a whole lot of trigger response on semi-auto, and you really gotta press it down and wait for that BB to send. But it compensates for being so pinpoint accurate. Like I can keyhole this target right here. Even as I'm walking and I'm moving and I'm shooting, I'm hitting the same exact place every time I pull the trigger. Once again, I'm gonna take a small target here and I'm gonna hit it. Every single time. I'm very impressed with this gun. So now our expectations are set. How does the MPX fare? Well, we're gonna find out. All right, moment of truth. I have waited for this for a long time. The MPX. It is fantastic. 7.4, I am starting to rethink how I look at AEGs, even though they run with a 7.4, because some of these newer AEGs, they can really kind of keep up, even though they use a lower voltage battery. Again, it's so snappy, even with a 7.4, and I feel very capable. Now, the MPX is going to be the heaviest out of the 3 guns that we have here today. And of course, I swapped out the stock for the MCX stock, and it feels so nimble. I feel so maneuverable with it. I can keyhole, I can hit anything I want. And while it may not have burst, it does have a pretty decent full auto. And when you put this Ace-Tech brighter, tracer unit / amplifier / flame effect, it looks so cool. For you guys, we're gonna do a mag dump. Whew. What a fun gun to shoot. I expected no less from the MPX. Everything that I've shot today was fantastic. And this gun really just solidified my expectations for this gun would be. A lot of times we overhype ourselves, like, wow, this new gun that's gonna come up has to be XYZ. And to be honest, I gauged my expectations, if ever, to have an Airsoft MPX. This would be, if an AEG format, about where I thought it would be. Extremely capable in CQB ranges, relatively good accuracy down range. I'm impressed. Back to the studio. What a great shoot. I really enjoy taking multiple guns out and comparing them to our subject matter, in this case, the MPX. Now, before we wrap up this video, why don't you check out the MCX reviews that we've done, both the Virtus and the Legacy, or any of the SMGs we've used in this particular review. I can wait.
The MPX is finally a thing, and as an AEG, I think it's a strong offering. Everything is pretty solid and shoots about as good as you'd expect. For a gun that you would essentially use within 30 meters, I think it's up there with some of the best of them. And yes, you would be able to swap out the inner barrel for a little bit more distance if you want.
Everything about the MPX, I think is pretty fantastic. And personally, I've always liked this gun. But for one thing, and that's the battery compartment. And I think we all know where this is going. I mean, okay, where else are you gonna put it except for in the handguard? But that's the problem. It's in the handguard.
If you looked at the OG MPX design, it used a different rail system where you mount the Picatinny rail sections onto it. It was a little bigger, and it looked a little wider. I also think it looked a little nicer too. Neither here nor there. I know we want to M-lock all the things, but if they would have just went with their original rail to begin with and offered the M-lock later as a potential upgrade accessory, well, I think that would allow more flexibility for players to consider different battery options.
But on the other hand, the only thing that makes me sad about this gun is, well, I wish it was a gas blowback. I'm just gonna say it. I wish this was a gas blowback gun, but I totally understand why they opted to go with an AEG first, simply for the fact that more people around the world will have an opportunity to get their hands on one instead of a gas blowback. Gas blowbacks are a little bit limited due to environment, availability of gas, and of course some countries even have legal issues pertaining to how realistic they are. So I totally get why the AEG was their first initial offering from SIG Air in this form. So with my biggest complaint out of the way, I just gotta say, I'm just so grateful that we finally get our hands on the MPX itself. A gun that seemingly felt, it would never happen, is finally here. But guys, what do you think? Do you think they should have just bit the bullet and came out with a gas blowback version because they already have an AEG version of the MCX? Or do you agree that the AEG was probably the better choice to start with? Let me know all of that in the comment section below. Now, if you want cool products like this and the other SMGs and everything you see on the gun, don't forget to check out our online store at www.redwolfairsoft.com. My name is Mark, aka Blue Steel. If you liked this video, give us a like. If you thought it was cool, share it with your friends. And if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you know every time we upload a new video. And until next episode, guys, I'll catch you next time.